Hi, it's Brian again from McKinney's&BI4Buildings.com. In this demo video, we're going to show you some of the more advanced layout features of DataFlare, as well as introduce you to the basics of property-to-property binding. By adding additional layout containers to the outline, setting them to full size, and nesting them so that their parent-child relationships are effective, we're able to create a very dynamic, very accurate layout for our widgets. Once the layout containers are organized as we would like, we can drag our existing objects into them, which now puts them into the new layout. We'll go ahead and make sure that the chart object is locked to the upper left and reset its width to 75% of its parent container. We'll then add an additional vertical layout to our canvas to allow a location for us to load our gauges. We'll lock it to the upper right hand corner and set its width to 25%, or the area left, and its height to 100% so it occupies the full vertical space. These layout properties are very powerful in that they allow you to create dashboards that resize perfectly and are visible on any screen. We'll go ahead and add a gauge widget to the vertical container, size it to 100%, and duplicate it. As you can see, the two gauges fill to occupy the entire available space. I'm going to open the chart's previous month table to use it as a data source for the gauge on top. Because there are multiple values in this column and a gauge only accepts a single value column, we're presented with a list of values including min, max, average, and count to use for the needle on the gauge. The gauge has additional minimum and maximum properties, and we can also bind the table to those values using the appropriate minimum and maximum selection. DataFlare's ability to add Splunk search results to almost any property on any of its widgets allows you to create extremely powerful data-driven dashboards and web applications. In addition to using table values or Splunk search results to animate properties, you can do so with property-to-property bindings, scripts, logic, and other methods. We'll cover these methods for advanced bindings in an additional video. I'm going to go ahead and finish up setting up the second gauge like we set up the first, using the minimum and maximum column values from the current month's data. We'll go ahead and hide the table and return to view mode so we can see what the dashboard looks like in full screen. I'm going to make a few more adjustments to the gauges to make the dashboard a little bit more user-friendly. First thing I'm going to do is set the tick label precision to 1 for both gauges so that we get one decimal point on the label and don't get duplications of the integers. I'd like to go ahead and add some labels for the gauges to be more precise about what they represent. I'll drag and drop an alphanumeric indicator to the gauge's layout container and then drag its position in the outline so that it sits on top. I'll go ahead and set the text to what it represents, previous month, and hit enter to set the label. Head back down to the outline editor, duplicate the label, reposition the new label, and edit its text to represent month to date. Thanks again for your time. Hope you enjoyed this demo of the more advanced layout and property binding features of DataFlare.